morning everyone, welcome back to Oscar's Garage. We're at Petruth Paddocks near Cheddar, just south of Bristol in the UK, for a Sunday morning car meet, and I thought we'd just give you a few highlights of some of the cars. You can see we've gone by a Bentley, that's a Bristol, we've got a very old MG there, and one of my personal favourites, Ford Capri. Hope you enjoy. Okay, first up we've got this lovely Rover P6 2000, resplendent in white. This is the last of the older style Rovers before they moved to the more aerodynamic hatchback styling of the SD1 in the mid-70s. This particular car has the original receipt on the back seat, and it was actually bought by a Rover employee for £1,606, which included his 20% discount. And beside it we've got an older Rover P4. Now there's several of these cars here today. The more traditional style, more upright, and as you'll see a little bit later on, had suicide opening rear doors. Now we've got a great pair of MGB GTs here. I'll do some close-ups of the engine bays because they are absolutely stunning. This particular one, the blue one, has got a Healey rocker cover, so I'm assuming that one is quite tuned. Looks like it's got an alloy radiator as well, and lovely looking car. And then we've got a mid-90s Rover convertible. Now these were very popular in the day. If you remember back in the day of 205 GTIs and XR3i convertibles, this was Rover's offering. This one is in particularly good condition. Then along to the Triumph 1500, very similar in style to the Dolomite and Toledo. These ones always seem that these and Toledo's always seem in brown. Maybe it's just me, but Dolomites always seem to be brighter colours, but the 1500 and Toledo always seem to be brown. But maybe it's just me. And then alongside it, we've got this lovely just post-war T-Series MG. This is the style that MG produced just before the war and then used again just after the war to get themselves back in production. As I mentioned, there was a good turnout of Rover P4s here today, and we've got in a line here a trio of them, Rover 80, Rover 90 and Rover 100, and you can just see there the suicide rear doors, which is very uncommon to see on cars nowadays. Alongside we've got a beautiful red SL280 Mercedes, and as you can see it's attracting a little bit of a crowd there, but we'll give you some shots so you can see it a bit better. And then a MG Saloon. This is a Magnet, and was very popular back in the day, one of the upper end of the MG range. And here we have a TF Gentry, which is actually a kit car, despite the fact it looks like a sort of 50s MG, which is based on a Triumph Herald chassis. This one looked particularly nice, and you know, in passing you wouldn't believe it was anything else than a classic car. And now we are on to the final row of cars here this morning. We've got a Morris 1000 Traveller there, which brought a whole new dimension to rot, because it could rot at the back because the wood was structural, so something very much you needed to keep an eye on. But this one is in really good condition. Alongside we have this nice Mercedes SL. I think this was a 3-litre version, a really nice little car. And then the good old British Triumph Stag there. Funny enough, these in the early days were renowned for overheating, and the engine was often replaced with something else, but nowadays the ones with the original engine are the ones sought after. Now next to this we've got a Mark 1 Escort with a Pinto engine, which I guess is probably a 2-litre. I didn't want to disturb this chap because he seemed to be doing some frantic tinkering, so I left him to it. Now, immediately you think, oh, MG Midget. No, this is an Austin Healey Sprite. So, very, very similar cars, but this was the Austin Healey version, which was produced in the early days of the production of this style of car. Now, a big British bruiser here, we've got a Bentley Turbo. Beautiful car. These are not mega money, so you get an awful lot of real estate for your cash with these. and this one looking particularly resplendent in its sort of British racing green colour. And alongside it, now I had to do a bit of googling on this one. I knew it was a Bristol, but apparently it's a 409 with a 5.2 litre Chrysler engine. So a real gentleman's carriage. Bristols were never produced in big numbers. They were a real gentleman's car. And that one's particularly nice. And alongside it, from very big to very small, we've got a MGT series again. Again, the car that was produced before and just after the war. At that time to keep MG going. And then finally, one of my personal favourites, because I've had lots of these, is the Ford Capri. Now, this 2.8 injection special was particularly nice. It had everything down to the original stereo in it. It was clean on top and underneath. Absolutely beautiful car. A real credit to its owner.